Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of Atlanta's Up and Rising, where we take and highlight and showcase some of the greatest talent here in the Atlanta area. I'm your host, Demetrius Big Meach Taylor, honey. If you find out more about me, you can go to www.dishingtea.com, but you already know this ain't nothing to do with me. I am going to take my time with you, and I want to introduce to some and present to others this guy here. He is a prolific spoken word artist, and as I get to know him, we've been knowing each other for a few years now, and he's been sitting up there asking me and telling me and this, that, and the other, wanting to do this and wanting to do that. So I said, okay, I got into his work, and when you listen to him, honey, the brother gets deep, you know, and he's not deep like some folks do, you know, when they're trying to go power to the people kind of thing. You know, that kind of, you know what I mean. But he's deep to where he gives you surface because it hits you. But yet it has a lingering effect. It got an aftertaste that sits down and then it nestles. And when it nestles, it sits down there and says, oh, you know what? Wow, yeah. Because it keeps you thinking and then it promotes discussion. And that's what I like about it. So without any further ado, let me present to you, this is the one and only, this is Mr. Donovan Brown. What's up, baby?
It's all good, brother.
All right. Okay. I'm sitting up here, and as I'm getting into this, you are involved in an art form that is very, very common. But yet, at one point in time, it became lost because a lot of folks got away from it. But now, with folks like India Ari and Jill Scott and carrying on, who are bringing the art form back in music, you know, we now have where we have creative outlets and stuff for the spoken word artists. So, coming into this, let's start with getting folks to understand the semantics behind your brand of spoken word. So tell folks who Donovan Brown is.
Well, I started out as a writer, you know, and I remember when I was in high school, all I did was write a whole bunch of short stories, and you know, writing is just, it's a talent, you know. I don't think I realized what a talent it was until I noticed that not everybody can do it. And I heard that one of my favorite movies, A League of Their Own, they said something like, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And the fact that it's hard is what makes it so great and so fun to do. So that's how I look at writing. And so I started out writing, and I don't think I used to write poetry as a kid, but I didn't take it seriously. As a matter of fact, I couldn't stand to like go to an open mic and listen to other people do poetry because it just, like I said, I don't think I realized I could do it. And so like, I don't want to say I was hating, but it just, I couldn't relate to it at the time. So it had no interest in me. But like I said, you know, the more I wrote, I mean, actually when I wrote my first novel, and you know, I was like, well, can I like actually put this into a spoken word verse kind of thing, and you know, get up there and recite it from memory, not read it, actually recite it, you know, because when I'm performing my poetry, I like it. I want people to be able to relate, but also at the same time, I'm having fun doing it. So, you know, I want it to be relatable, but at the same time, I can't take myself too seriously while I'm doing it. So that's why, like, when I do poetry, you know, I try to stay out of my own head, because when I'm in my own head, I'm worrying about, okay, if I'm saying this, are people gonna like it? Are they gonna be offended by it? And the trick to poetry is, what I learned is to know your audience.
Okay. So in knowing your audience, how is it that you create your pieces? What inspires the piece, you know, and each new particular work?
Well, it can be anything, you know. I don't have a specific agenda or whatever when I create a piece. It's just whatever comes into my head at the moment, you know, whatever issue that is really irking me at the moment, you know, I put pen to paper, and you know, and I try to make something come alive from it. And there are a lot of issues that I'm not unique, you know, I am to a certain extent, but the things that bother me bother you, bother other people. So, like I said, the trick is knowing your audience. You know, when I do my poetry, I do something that's relatable, so that people can actually appreciate it. You know, because the last thing I want is to do poetry and people like, well, whatever, man. What were you just saying? You know, you up there for like 5-10 minutes and you just sprouting this, sprouting that. You got a fantastic flow, but at the end of the day, what are you actually saying? So when I do my poetry, I'm more not style, but more substance over style. Now I want people to actually, he's actually saying something and he sounds good saying it.
Okay. All right. Now, in the spoken word genre, and I'm looking to get into that myself, you know, in a couple of areas.
Right.
More so reciting other people's stuff, not so much as writing my own, but I find stuff that I, you know, just to give a dramatic flair, you know. Okay. However, in that flair, what is it when you're out there performing the piece, you know? Because I'm noticing it in this art form with poetry slams and this, that, and the other, it seems to be this whole particular, this kind of rhythm that everybody's into. What keeps you different from that in that regard?
Staying true to myself, and not just staying true to myself, knowing myself, you know, knowing what I'm about. I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, I've gone to open mic events and I've seen people get up there with laptops reciting their poem and reading it. Or I remember I went to an open mic a few months ago. This girl, she got up there and had her phone and just read it off. My thing is, having a great flow is fine. But at the same time, it's more to, for me, it's more to poetry than just having a great flow. It's, like I said, having great words to say, you know, and touching people, you know. Like I said, I mean, I've seen people get up there and have that style and that flow. And sometimes it can be a little intimidating, especially if you go on right after them. But the thing is, I have to take that out of the equation. Just like I said, I have to get out of my head and just get up there and do it the way I know how to do it. I can't really worry about how people are going to compare me to somebody who gets up there and flow like they're Kanye West or something, you know, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So I can only have faith in myself and hope that people like what I got to say and like the way I say it. You know, they can respond to my style, my particular brand.
Oh, okay. His particular brand. All right. Okay, dig that. Dig that. Well, okay, let me go here. What is the difference in the art of poetry now, in your opinion? What we have now versus what we had back with the Edgar Allan Poes and the Langston Hughes and, you know, the Robert Frost and Carry On. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. You know, we've gone from that to, you know, this whole social conscious, you know, in your opinion, is it two separate things, or is it just the continuum? Is that still on the continuum?
I think they're different, but they're still connected at the same time. I think you got, like, the Edgar Allan Poe is right here, and then you got the neo, you know, spoken word. It's gotten really big. It's evolved. I mean, so when you have a great story to tell, to me, poetry is just a way of telling a story. I mean, if you look at most songs that are out there, it's nothing but poetry set to music. So I think that there is a link, is a connection between the two. But to me, that Edgar Allan Poe and Robert Frost, to me, that never interested me because it's just like I said, I couldn't necessarily relate to it.
Right.
So I think poetry becomes interesting when people can relate to what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah. And that's why I went there, because I think when folks think poetry, they go right there.
Yes. And
you know, and it seems like it is just a drudge to get through. You know, and then because we were in school, you know, you had to read that kind of stuff, and then it was forced reading, and you had to read it, you had to memorize it, you know, and then it becomes a chore, you know, versus, you know, the whole new avenue of it now, because we got something to say, you know. conscious rap, you know, back in the day when I liked rap and carried on, was just that poetry to, you know, it was syncopated to a beat. Now it has evolved, like you said, to where now, you know, it has gone into another form. The whole neo-soul thing, a lot of poets are now singing, you know, their poetry or whatever. So, okay, I dig that, I dig that. What seems to be the goal that you are aspiring to do with your work? Where do you see yourself in your work as little as 5 years from now?
I mean, hopefully. I mean, I'm talking a couple of months. I'm hoping to be on Versus and Flow.
You dig it?
Yes, I mean, I'm aspiring. You know, I'm still aspiring, but I mean, poetry, it's become real to me. You know, within the last few years. I mean, like I said, I've been writing forever, but poetry is something that I actually started delving into maybe 5 years ago. I mean, as far as taking it seriously and actually getting up in front of 50 people or so and performing something, you know. And it takes a lot of nerve to do that, you know. So, I mean, I'm always writing. I'm always constantly coming up with something. You know, I'm working on a couple of new pieces right now that I hope to have ready within the next month or two, and just actually, you know, get out there and just do it, you know. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to get up and perform poetry. And it's also not easy to come up with something that's cohesive and makes sense. You know, it's not easy at all, you know. So I've been working on 2 pieces for about a month or 2, and it's still an ongoing process. I don't want to compare it to conceiving a child, but it's in my opinion, it's almost up there.
Okay. All right. Well, let me do this, because I want to get the folks to get into you and to get into your mindset. So right now, take right here and let the folks know where they can find you, where they can hear you, where they can get a hold of you to embody and embrace your work.
Well, I'm always at the Apache. Whenever I come up with a new piece, the first thing I do is I don't want to say rehearse it and practice it, but I do make sure that I commit it to my memory. That's the first thing I do. And then when I got that down pat, I let the style evolve on its own. Then the second thing I do is go straight to the Apache Cafe. And just on Sunday nights they have the open mics. I get up there and I just do it. So you can always come down to the Apache. I'm always down there performing.
All right. Now, are we looking for you to go into and/or spoken word recordings?
Well, hey, dude, let me tell you something. I don't say no to anything. I'm like, if it goes there, I'm happy. But I'm like, my course is constantly evolving. You know, like I said, I mean, somebody discover me and say, look, I want to put you on my show. Hey, I'm not gonna say no. I mean, if it's exposure. I think right now my main goal is exposure. But at the same time, I want to make sure that whatever I'm bringing is on point, so that when I'm doing it and people, they receive it, you know, and they say, oh, well, this guy actually knows what he's doing. All
right. I got to get you hooked up with my girl, Jessica Care Moore.
It works for me.
Jessica Care Moore. All right. Well, listen, let everybody know where to find you on your social medias and carrying on.
Well, of course, I'm on Facebook. My name, Donovan Brown at Facebook. DONAVAN Brown on Facebook. And like I said, just you know, always come down to the Apache. I'm always down there.
All right. Well, without any further ado, what we're going to do right here, I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to give you into the social consciousness of a deep brother.
Start from where you send your social media, look on camera 3.
Okay.
We just follow that.
Okay.
So I need to just look at
Yeah, take a camera 3.
I like this editing, man. It's fun, man. So just say what I was. Okay. Yes. You can go on Facebook. My name is Donovan Brown. DONAVAN Brown on Facebook. And you can always go down to the Apache and catch me there on Sunday nights.
Well, all righty then. Well, without any further ado, let me say thank you now, because I want to sit down here and I want the audience to really get into your mindset into some of your social consciousness. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I want to take this time, honey, and introduce to you the extraordinary spoken word talents of Mr. Donovan Brown.
It is a fundamental fact that every being is here with a purpose relevant to the scheme of things, with a destiny forever evolving, forever taking shape. At the start of the day, when you draw that new breath, that is your cue to venture out, accomplish something great. Insecurity is that dark shadow. It feeds your fears. It sustains your doubts. It eats away the best parts of you like a slow, painful death. But God gave you a mind to think, a will to endure, and enough common sense to know that you have got to love yourself. Believe you me, I got gifts and talents unique to me that were granted the day I stepped out of my mama's womb. I'm like a legendary superhero marching to the beat of my own drum. Boom, shaka-laka-laka, boom. Powerful is the black man, proud stepping and always tapping into that energy that drives him to excel. Now, I'm going to shock you when I tell you this, but it's a whole lot of brothers out there who never even seen the inside of a jail cell. It's that damn Fox News and friends talking all that yang about us being murderers, rapists, and lazy, shiftless, no good crooks. You want to learn about a real black man, then you got to go to the library and open up a couple of books. There are so many unsung stories of great black men out there that you have to know that 12 years a slave, that ain't what we're all about. I say it was black men, not aliens, who built those pyramids that touched the sky. And the last time I checked, there was a brother in the White House. Hey, it's the truth. A good education does open up doors to help you travel roads less beaten and raggedy. In order to be a real black man, you got to have more ambition in life than just to be somebody's baby daddy. There are way too many fatherless young boys out here, because I look at these young cats and I think, pull up your damn pants and find yourself a real dream. It's okay if you want to play in the NBA, but understand it would be so much better if you owned the team. Young blood, you can't limit yourself to these tired stereotypes of over-the-top facial tattoos and ripped-up wife beaters. You got to think outside the box. We got enough followers. What we need are more leaders. So what if your DNA is comprised of 500 years of slavery, oppression, and a whole lot of strife? Wear it like a badge of honor. Hell, you came from Africa. Don't you know that's the cradle of life? That true power, it comes in the mind. That's the weapon you use to overcome life's obstacles, no matter what the size. Don't take my word for it. Just ask Maya Angelou. She's the one who said, "And still I rise." But I digress. I'm going to come down off my soapbox because I'm not judging, I'm not being divisive, and I'm not trying to draw any lines in the sand. All I'm saying is, the only thing I'm trying to say is, it ain't a cotton-picking thing wrong with being a real black man.
Now, before we let you go do your thing, tell everybody where they can find you on your Twitter, your Facebook, your Yahoo, your this, your that, your CD babies, where they can find you and your music. Let the folks know.
I can be found on Facebook at The Naomi Rose, on SoundCloud, The Naomi Rose, and you can find me on Twitter at Nay Heartless, and also on Instagram at Nay Heartless, and YouTube at The Naomi Rose.
So without any further ado, this is the wonderful Miss Naomi Rose.
This is another Jake's production. search for answers and words to say, but after you already slipped away, baby, what am I supposed to do? Walk away or work it out with you? Can you love me like I love you? Need me like I need you? Want me like I want you? Or am I just your fool? Can you love me like I love you? Need me like I need you? Want me like I want you? Or am I just your fool? Beautiful, that's what you used to say. I felt it every day. The future dreams we had, crying tears so sad. Beautiful, that's what you used to say. I felt it every day. The future dreams we had, I'm crying tears so sad. Can you love me like I love you? Yeah. I need you. Want me like I want you? Or am I just your fool? Can you love me like I love you? Need me like I need you? And want me? Or am I just your fool? Yeah. Can you love me? Whoa. Call me. Call me the moment, the minute, the second, the hour that you get there. Oh, can you love me? Yeah, baby. Oh, like I want you.
Here are some interesting and entertaining oddities about art. Leonardo da Vinci began painting the Mona Lisa in 1503 and finished it just before his death in 1516. When the painting was stolen from the Louvre Museum in Paris in 1912, 6 replicas were sold as the original, each at a huge price. It took 3 years to recover the original.
In 1961, Henri Matisse's painting Le Bateau hung upside down at the Museum of Modern Art for 46 days before someone noticed the mistake.
Roman statues were often made with detachable heads, so that one head could be removed and replaced by another.
Paul Gauguin, the French painter, also worked construction on the Panama Canal. About 25,000 workers died during the construction of the canal.
Carbon paper was patented on October 7, 1806 by Ralph Wedgwood of London, England.
The large canvases Jackson Pollock used for his abstract expressionist action paintings were usually laid flat on the floor while he painted. Pollock was a chain smoker and would frequently paint with a cigarette hanging from his lips. This led to the incorporation of cigarette ashes into the surface of some of his works.
It is said that Picasso could draw before he could walk, and his first word was the Spanish word for pencil.
When Auguste Rodin exhibited his first important bronze sculptures in 1878, it was so realistic that it said that some people thought he had sacrificed a live model inside the cast.
The world-famous Louvre Museum and Art Gallery in Paris, France was built in 1190. It was initially used as a fortress. A left-handed painter, Michelangelo, painted his famous David and Goliath with David holding his sling in his left hand.
Leonardo da Vinci wrote all of his personal notes from right to left, forcing those who read them to use a mirror. The first pencil was invented in England in 1565. Even though humans have been painting things for centuries, It wasn't until 1880 that you could purchase ready-mixed paints.
Genghis Khan is credited with introducing the Chinese makers of porcelain to the color called cobalt blue. It's believed he brought it back from Persia. We hope you've enjoyed these interesting and entertaining oddities about art. Americans are trying to make their travels more time efficient. These tips may help. Stay at an airport hotel the night before your departure, so you don't have to leave quite so early. Remember, many airlines have cut back on meal service. Get food at the airport or ask your hotel to package a meal to go. Larger airports have shops and hotels right inside the terminal that offer everything from banking and salons to dentists and rooms where you can nap or shower.
If you're among the nearly 20% of Americans planning to move this year, you might pack along these tips from experts. First, a timetable helps make sure all the things that have to be done get done before your move. For instance, you should start packing non-essential items about a month before the big day. Assess your moving needs and pick out the proper truck size. Try to lighten the load. The weeks prior to moving are an excellent time to get rid of things you don't need. Pack belongings in strong boxes. Truck rental companies sell all kinds of packing materials, such as bubble wrap. To significantly speed up unpacking, mark the outside of each box with the contents and the room where it should be taken. In extreme temperatures, leave indoor plants until it is time to pack them. Be sure to pick up the truck the day or evening before to become familiar with the vehicle. For more tips, ask your rental company.
Whether it's a birthday party, reunion, or an anniversary celebration, a little bit of planning can make your next family gathering a more memorable experience. Experts say the fondest memories of a party often result from the host's preparation and attention to detail. For example, use an RSVP on the invitation so you can get an actual count of people attending. This can help with your menu planning. And skip putting loose confetti in the invitation. Many people find this annoying. If you're planning a dinner party, include the menu, a map, and directions. You can have a guest book available and invite your partiers to sign in as they arrive. You can then present this to the guest of honor as a keepsake of the event. Try setting a theme with a different food in each room or on each table. Allow 4 to 6 hot hors d'oeuvres per person. Don't serve gooey, drippy sauces near expensive rugs or furniture. Keep some carpet cleaner on hand just in case.